Hey guys, it's Gunther here from Outdoorphoto, and I would like to chat to you about frames per second. I'd like to chat to you about frames per second, and I'd like to talk to you a little bit about frames per second. Take 178, trying to discuss frames per second. Talk to you about frames per second. Ons gaan 'n boksak moet kry. Hey guys, let's check it out. Depending on the genre that you are going to photograph, we would make specific recommendations. If you are shooting landscapes, if you're shooting still life, frames per second isn't such a big factor for you. But as soon as you start diving into action photography or sports or birding and wildlife, anything where there is a lot of movement and very specific moments, you want a high frame rate. I want to make sure that you understand frames per second is for stills one thing, and for video it's something completely different. With this, we are looking at how many photographs your camera can take per second. FPS, frames per second. How many photographs can it take per second? Now, once the camera is listed on our website, you'll find that it says that specific model does 30 frames per second. It doesn't mean you just flip a switch and it's running at 30 frames per second. There are a lot of other features and kind of settings that all need to work hand in hand to get to that high frame rate that we're looking for. Depending on your aperture, depending on your shutter speed, depending on the memory cards that you're using, depending on focusing systems on different makes and models of cameras, all those settings will have an implication to how many frames per second your camera can and actually will take. Once everything is sorted out and you get to that high frame rate, you're going to end up with a situation like this. So if I dive across into these images taken by Michelle, incredible shot of this Bosveld pigeon. I'm really bad with birds, sorry guys. But I mean, she's got incredible moments that she captured in this entire sequence. So panning through this, you would go and select that one specific shot that is timed perfectly. So I like this shot, but we kind of use this sequence because of tiny little issues that creeped in. There were shots that were incredibly sharp in focus, and there were also some shots that were not in focus. So when you go through this entire sequence and you get to a shot like that moment right there, you'll find that the focus is slightly out on the eye. In that second, it's a frustration, but it's fine because you're shooting at such a high frame rate. There are other moments, and yes, you might have missed that one moment, and we can criticize brands, focusing systems, settings. There's a plethora of different things that will all factor in to if that shot is in focus or not. But the truth is, we're out there hunting that exact moment. And this happens. It's part of life. It's part of photography. It's going out there, taking these shots and trying to get it. And once you get to that one spectacular shot, and you zoom in and everything's in focus, and you can go, that's my shot, that's the one I want to post. And I want to stop there. I want to stop just for a little second, and I want to talk about my definition of a pro versus an amateur photographer. A pro photographer will go to the Kalahari and go and photograph 15,000 shots in 2 weeks' time or whatever, and they'll get back and they'll cull through all the images, and you will see maybe 4 images. That's it. That's all that they're going to show you. They will save the rest for later or whatever the case may be. The amateur will go to Dikololo for the weekend and photograph 1,000 photographs and make sure you have to sit there and watch through the entire load of stills. That is my definition. It's being able to also sit down and make that difficult call. And I'm going to mention the black and white images in a second as well. Part of being a pro photographer is making that tough call and selecting that one single image, even though you captured 30 per second. It's a tough decision. It's very similar to guys taking photographs and posting a black and white and the color version. No, you're taking away so much of your photography and your art skill and set that you are sharing with the world by putting the option out there. Make the tough call, pick one, black and white or color, and post only that single image. Have a look at when you're posting images online and you post 10 images versus you posting 1 or 2 at a time. And you'll find that the 1 or 2 images at a time attract so much more attention versus here's the whole album. And that is once again the definition, in my opinion, between a pro and an amateur. A pro is only going to show you that one spectacular shot. But to select it, to have the options available to pick from that and be able to share it, that's where frames per second comes in. These photographs I took in Giant's Castle way back. This was on a 1DX Mark II. Maximum frames per second we were looking at was 12 frames per second. And if I took my 5D Mark III with back then, I would have gotten that shot and I would have gotten that shot. Because I was shooting with a camera with 12 frames per second, I managed to capture that first shot and this shot in between. This was my absolute favorite shot of the entire weekend. It was that split second where you could see the one is just crashing in and the other one is I am out of here. So you can see this bearded vulture just being skittish and going, hold on, I know this guy. He's clumsy, he doesn't care, he'll knock anybody else off of the cliff. I better be out of here. They don't fight, they don't mingle really. It's just a cautious bird, the bearded vulture. And that is exactly why frames per second matters. I love shooting portraits and I love shooting landscapes. I don't need 13 frames per second or 50 frames per second of a landscape. It's not going to help me whatsoever. But I also love shooting some action, some sports, and when the opportunity arises, I'll go and shoot some wildlife and action. Any adventure out there, I love going and photographing that. So high frame rates is kind of a thing for me. I need it quite regularly. But if I'm shooting portraits and landscapes, I don't need it. So all these cameras are adjustable. But depending on what genre you are interested in, what you want to capture, high frame rates helps tremendously. I'm going to segue into another section and just give you a special mention about electronic shutter distortion. Electronic shutters on these mirrorless cameras are incredible, but not all of them have a great readout speed off of the sensor, giving you a very distorted image as soon as there is a lot of movement in a panning photograph or if something is moving and rotating quite quickly. Then you can pick up kind of distortion. The image, the shape is just all over the show and it doesn't look great. So make sure the readout speed on your camera on the electronic shutters are great, depending on which model it is. And if you've got any questions about it, speak to the go-to guys at Outdoorphoto. It's why we're here. We're trying to build community. We're trying to reach out. We're trying to help you out to get the right gear for the right genre and the right shoot. So get into contact with the go-to guys at Outdoorphoto and have a chat with them. Look forward to hearing from you guys if frames per second is actually a major factor for you or not. So hit us up in the comment section below with what genre you're shooting, and yes, it matters, or no, it doesn't matter. Look forward to reading it. See you guys later. For now, I'm out. Cheers.